If you love the look of wood grain, however have a piece of furniture you don't want to strip down to bare wood, consider trying this easier method instead. Stripping paint off furniture is hard work, so here's how to get the wood grain look without stripping any paint at all. I'm now removing all the drawers, then unscrewing each knob, which were stuck to the drawers with a lot of paint. Taking all the drawers outside, I'm sanding each one to prepare them for repainting. The rest of the dresser is also getting sanded in all the painted areas until it's smooth to the touch. After bringing the piece back inside and dusting it off, I'm choosing Algonquin by Fusion Mineral Paint as my base coat. This tone adds an overall warmth to the piece, which is a good starting point for my faux wood grain look. I'm using a paintbrush to cut in some tighter areas, then rolling the rest of the paint on using a velour paint roller, which leaves a very nice smooth finish. Leaving the paint dry overnight, I'm now selecting Fusion Stain and Finishing Oil in Cappuccino for the next step. I'm brushing the stain on the tops and sides of the drawers. There's no need to be neat and tidy in the step since this will be removed anyway. Once covered, I'm removing most of the stain using a crinkly used rag that already had some dried paint on it. This proved to add loads of great texture. Now I'm alternating between using a whisk brush and a rag, swiping over the surface until I achieve a wood grain look I'm happy with. Stain and Finishing Oil has a long open time, so you can work this product easily without it drying too quickly on you. Now I'm repeating the same steps to the rest of the dresser, applying the stain, then wiping it off, following with a brush and whisk to create the finished look I want. I'm being careful to create the wood grain where it would naturally fall in each given area. When working on a larger area such as a side or top, I recommend to complete the entire area all at once so you don't see any stop and start patterns. I'm now choosing Coal Black by Fusion Mineral Paint to repaint the original knobs. After installing the knobs to a dresser drawer, I'm deciding to add some additional styling to the piece to really kick up the personality. After removing all the drawers, I'm positioning a thick grain sack stripe stencil from Funky Junk's Old Sign Stencils, taping it to the middle of the dresser vertically. I'm tapping the paint through the stencil, being very careful not to wiggle the stencil around too much. I'm now placing all the drawers back into the dresser, then using the stenciled areas as a guideline to help position the stencil on the fronts of the drawers. Each drawer is getting stenciled until the entire vertical length of the dresser is complete. And with knobs replaced, I now have an instant wood grain looking dresser that has been elevated with a timeless grain sack stripe. I love the earthy mid-tones this dresser ended up with. The wood effect gives the piece a casual warmth, while the added black knobs and grain sack stripe adds a touch of elegance to it. I think it makes a fabulous looking statement piece for any room in a home. I hope this inspires you to give a piece of your own a custom wood grain look by just using paint and stain. Here's a super unique and easy way to flip a boring piece of furniture into something extra special. I'm removing the drawer and the knob, then giving the entire side table a light sanding with an orbital sander to remove the previous yellowed varnish. Next, I'm opening up a silicone mold that showcases different medallion shapes. I'm brushing on some cornstarch inside the molds, then filling each mold with air dry clay. The cornstarch keeps the clay from sticking to the molds. Since I have the option, I'm filling all the medallion shapes with clay so I have a selection to choose from. To remove the clay, I'm tipping the mold upside down, then gently prying the clay out without pulling on it, then placing each medallion somewhere flat to dry. Before the clay is completely dry, I'm puncturing holes into the centers of the medallions using a small screw. After the clay is dry in about 2 to 3 days, I'm placing my chosen medallion on top of a small plastic cap for easier painting. Choosing a small black knob from my stash, I'm painting the medallion and knob so they match each other in a deep gray, then highlighting it with an off-white to give it an oxidized look. For the last step, I'm brushing on a very light touch of rub and buff in antique gold so the pieces have a tarnished metal look. I'm applying the rub and buff with a brush, lightly sweeping over the pieces and along the medallion edges. To install the new knobs, I'm inserting a screw from the inside of the drawer, then positioning the medallion in place first, then screwing on the knob semi-tight last. And the end result is a custom-made antique drawer pull that looks like it was found in a box of old hardware. The knob works great. It's as strong as ever, and both pieces truly resemble old metal that really gives the side table an upscale look. I love the new look of this piece. It's super pretty to use as a side table or even as a plant stand. I hope this inspires you to try making your own enhanced high-end knobs for an extra special furniture revamp of your own.
A utility cart from IKEA is a great value and a great piece for storage. How about we give this classic gem a fabulous makeover? Pick your favorite peel and stick wallpaper pattern and let's get to measuring. Measure and cut a piece of wallpaper that is the same size as the mesh insert. Peel back the corner of your measured wallpaper and the rest of the backing will peel off easily. Apply to the center of the 2 cart shelves, leaving a white border around the paper. This will mimic the border of the mesh shelf. Use a debit card or gift card to smooth out wrinkles by pressing against the paper and pushing wrinkles away. Now take the side panels, measure and cut wallpaper to fit around the panels and apply. Miter the corners just like you would for a gift package or a sewing project. Follow this process for wallpapering each side piece of the cart shelves, as well as the connector pieces. Looking at your wallpaper color and pattern, pull an accent color from the pattern and spray paint the 2 side rail handles in that color. Follow the instructions that IKEA provides in the box and assemble all of the pieces of the cart. Poke a pen or screwdriver through the wallpaper and through the holes so that you can attach the pieces together with the screws. Pop on the wheels and you are ready to roll. Style this IKEA cart as a bar cart or a beverage cart with wine glasses and bottles. Or use it as a side table complete with a lamp, books, and plants. I hope this inspired you to give the classic IKEA utility cart a stylish makeover using peel and stick wallpaper.
Can't beat the price of free, so let's give this stool new life. I'm going to begin by sanding off just the top part of the stool. I want to leave this down to the bare wood, and I painted the legs and the spindles on the stool, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give it just a little bit of shine with this gold wax from Country Chic Paint. Then I took this Magnolia Garden Transfer from Dixie Belle Paint, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to apply this to the top part of my stool. I'm going to come in with this tough coat from Country Chic Paint just to seal it onto my design.
Did you know you can use coffee to stain wood? Take a bowl or a cup and add about 3 to 5 tablespoons of instant coffee. Pour in some hot water, about a cup to start, and stir until the coffee granules are fully dissolved. The great thing about using coffee as a stain is that it's completely customizable. If after applying your first coat you feel like the color is too light, you can always mix a stronger batch and layer it on until you achieve the shade you want. Now, the key to getting the best results is letting each coat dry completely before deciding if you need another layer. Depending on the temperature and humidity in your space, the drying process can take anywhere from 30 minutes to a couple of hours if you want a darker finish. And just like that, you've transformed your furniture using nothing but coffee.